Alrighty, guys, welcome back in to Slaughterhouse Sports. It has been a while since we have been back and doing this again. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning into the channel. We are going to talk about the NFL draft classes and maybe review like almost every single premium pick that was made in this NFL draft. We're actually going to do 32 teams, and we're going to start off in the AFC North. We're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to review this draft. We're now going to look at this team. Where does this team now? Where is this team positioned? How are they faring, and what do we think about their draft? So the Steelers at number 21, they decide to bypass Shedeur Sanders, which was a big move in this draft. They also didn't go with Jackson Dart or Tyler Shuck at quarterback here. They went with Derek Harmon from Oregon. So I'll tell you about Harmon. I think that he came on the second half of the season. He's a good interior pass rusher, but I mean, at times Penn State gashed Oregon, for 300 yards, Ohio State. Like in the biggest games, Oregon just wasn't a lockdown defensive team towards the second half of the year. So it's interesting. I believe that Harmon was also a transfer. Yeah, he was a transfer from Michigan State and spent 1 year at Oregon. So I think that he's considered a pretty good football player, but there's probably going to be risk that is going to be highlighted with this selection as well. But I think that Harmon, again, can be pretty good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This pick to me is like a B pick. I think it's a solid interior lineman for the Steelers, and Cam Hayward is going to be likely retiring. So this is a decent pick by the Steelers. In round number 3, the Steelers decide in round 3 to get Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. I love this pick. I think Johnson is very good in this gap scheme run game. Iowa happened to hire an offensive coordinator that the Green Bay Packers would run their stuff. Very pro style, some West Coast scheme that Arthur Smith's going to like, and Caleb Johnson is probably going to be the bell cow running back for the Steelers. Caleb Johnson is going to be, he has to be a huge piece to this offense. I mean, you have Warren, who's I think like also on the roster. That's an all right running back that I really do like. The running backs that they have there, Jaylen Warren, but, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, again, he's kind of that Swiss Army knife in the middle of the defense. He has some explosiveness, but again, he's a powerful back, and in dynasty formats, I'm telling you guys that he should be really effective if the Steelers are going to go out here and get rolling. 4th round was my favorite pick. They get Jack Sawyer. I think that this was really late for Jack Sawyer. I think he played his best football towards the end of his career. He was very productive. He has awesome leadership skills, really the heartbeat of that championship team with Ohio State. And Jack is just somebody that, he does have some ability. He can get off the ball, and, he can explode, and he can overpower, or he can try to use some quickness. Now, he's not going to be as fast as the first and second rounders, but I believe that you're getting a high floor player there in Jack Sawyer. So I really love that the Steelers got him in the 4th round. I think that Captain Jack, is a big time player for Pittsburgh. Then they also go out there. They get Yaha Black, also from the College of Iowa. And this is another defensive tackle that they add to this room now with Derek Harmon, Yaha Black. This team is going to be, it's going to be lit. Keanu Benton's going to have somebody behind him. So this D-line, hopefully Herbig, TJ Watt, this D-line should be able to hum a little bit for the Steelers. I'm a little bit worried about their cornerback. I'm worried that they're going to be trotting out Darius Slay. I don't really think that they upgraded that defensive room at all, and they could have maybe in this draft gotten a corner somewhere. All right. The offensive line, looking at the Steelers, they are putting a lot of faith in Broderick Jones as a tackle. He had a lot of holding penalties last year. Looking right now at the offensive line from the Steelers, you have Frazier, who can hopefully start and be really good for you out of West Virginia. Troy Fantano, interesting. Yeah, they're going with a lot of youth on this offensive line. So it's an unproven offensive line, but has high upside talent for sure. I mean, they've spent a lot there. So it's just in terms of can the Steelers use it. And then in the 6th round, they end up getting Will Howard. And it'll be fascinating to see if Howard actually starts at quarterback, if they do not land Aaron Rodgers, if they do not try to go get Kirk Cousins. But maybe they trade a third for Kirk Cousins. Not a lot. Overall, looking back at this class, I mean, I like every single draft pick. They didn't have a ton of picks this class. Caleb Johnson, if he hits, I think Caleb's the most important part of this class because then you get your running back for the next several years. We're going to have to see about Harmon. I love the Jack Sawyer pick, Yaha Black in the 5th. So overall, it's looking like a solid B class from the Steelers. Like I was pumped up to see Sawyer. I was pumped to get Caleb Johnson too. It's like a B+ draft from Pittsburgh. Like I really love the values that they've gotten, and this offense can really work. With Caleb Johnson and with Warren there. So it's boy oh boy, like it's gonna be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season up there in Pittsburgh for sure. Championship aspirations, decent draft. Having a second rounder probably would have helped. There's some good second round picks that I really liked that were selected here, and I'll probably highlight them as we go along. So overall, Pittsburgh Steelers draft review, reviewing the class. I think Caleb Johnson's a big-time scheme fit, and I think he's going to be the most pivotal player for Pittsburgh.